3 or 4 out of the top 10 grossing movies of all time are superheroes.
Oh my God! Would have never.
Never in a million years think that
The
Spider-Man
abuse
would
and
be.
the shame we had to feel for. That's the other thing. Other kids are going to dances. It's junior high, and just still.
Well, we weren't
you know.
exactly, staying at home just reading
No,
comic
no,
books.
but
I
it
mean,
was like something that is almost like. I guess it'd be like a ninth grade girl still playing with Barbies or something.
I got you.
Know?
Well, you certainly wouldn't want the girls, if you were dating, if they asked you, "Hey, what's your hobby?" Comic books would not be top of mind.
No, that'd be a little more macho than that.
Yeah, as my wife would say, that's nerd with a capital N.
That's a good way to put it.
Don't think that's. Hey, the other thing you were telling me the other day, and I was looking at the baseball cards you had, and I stopped buying baseball cards when I had to buy comic books. When I say had to, I mean, again, I'm trying to think of what my allowance was back then. I mean, it certainly wasn't more than 50 cents. It was probably a quarter, which gave you 2 comic books and tax. I mean, it was 25 cents for 2 comic books, and that was once
Right.
once a week. So you could buy 8 a month, and I mean, it was very limited. I don't know how you did
I almost start. I feel like crying. That's how. Because I was thinking this morning, my God, if you just got $2 a week, well, that'd be 12 comic books in 1 week, and some candy and baseball cards. Baseball card a pack was a nickel, so I mean, you could have 12. I said, man, we would have just for $2, we would have been. It's kind of depressing. We had a quarter. I remember fixing. I'd offered to fix my brother's bed and do dishes for my other brother to get a few extra pennies here, and then I had to ask my parents. I remember a couple times I'd be bugging them. Can you give me the pennies out of your change in your bank? Oh my God, 5 cents. Well, but 5 cents was,
Hey, I can remember taking my wagon. I mean, this is really going back. Looking in the bushes, getting ginger ale bottles that I could take back and get a nickel for a ginger ale bottle, and then 2 cents, I think, for the Coke and Pepsi bottles in RC. And
you remember ginger ale was more?
Ginger ale, the big quart bottle. Well, my parents drank the ginger ale bottle, so I could take them back and get some extra money. Because you're right. I mean, wow.
Couple bottles, that's a comic.
Yeah, and my favorite thing to do was to get 2 comic books, and for a nickel you could get a roll of Necco wafers, the chocolate ones, a big roll, and you'd be set. It took me about 30 minutes or more to read a comic book, and I mean read the letter page and go over it, and the candy would last at least all the way through an hour.
Yeah, you get those were very. I can't think of the word now. Cost effective or whatever, is that it? For the Necco wafers, instead of eating a candy bar?
Oh, yeah. Well, a Sky Bar I liked because it had 5 sections or 4 sections,
right.
but you could blow through that in just a few minutes. So you had try to be. You're right. Get the most for your money, and
to last while you're reading it.
I
still bought candy
good,
bars as much as we wanted the money for.
And how much was the candy
comic
bars?
Books? I don't know. Were they a nickel?
They were a nickel a piece.
It had to be a nickel.
A nickel a piece.
So I got a lot of cavities. Buy the candy because that was you're gonna eat some candy and read your comic books and. Wow, I forgot about the pop bottles. Yeah, that had to help. I remember scrounging. Of course, we didn't drink much. I think we had pop once a week. But like you said, you could find them in the bushes and did a lot.
Yeah.
But what, $2 a week would have done?
Oh.
So I guess our allowance was a quarter.
Yeah, it was pretty limited. But obviously, a quarter went a little further. I mean, you could or the baseball cards. You get a piece of gum and 5 cards, a wax pack. What was it? Of course, we didn't call them wax packs back then.
No, it's just a pack of cards. And But I did buy more. You were bringing that up. I guess I did put a little more money into baseball cards. I was crazy about baseball.
I remember, I mean, when you walked into the smoke shop, you know, the counter was on the left. Didn't they have them on the counter? Do you remember? I mean, that's where they had.
I'm almost positive, yeah. And that's
They'd have to, wouldn't they?
Yeah, he had them on the counter, and then I guess as you're going up to buy something, and you know, I just couldn't resist. Throw a pack here. Even that, Topps was number one, and I remember Fleer. It's like, should I break down and buy a pack of Fleer? Because you're trying to collect the whole team in the Topps company. So then if you broke down and bought some Fleers, you're not going to try to get every Indian. You'd have to go, that'd be like buying, you could, but that'd be like, then you have the decision, DC or Marvel.
Well, that was, I mean, you didn't, nobody bought like this, of course we were 10 years, 11 years old, you know, the collector set that would come out in advance where you could, you know, buy the whole thing and the rookie cards and
the whole box.
You know.
Now you kidding. I think one time, now that I remember for a couple years talking, maybe it was me and Sam, someday I'm going to buy a whole box of cards just to feel like you hit the lot or something, you know, open all those packs. And I don't know how I got the money, or maybe I threw pennies here and there. And one time I remember buying a whole box.
Wow.
And I thought I would
Did you go through them all right away, or?
Yeah, I think I took my time, and maybe not. Maybe I know I went through, you know, I might have went through them all because I was just thinking. It seemed like after I thought I'd get every card I needed. You know, like finish my whole collection of the Indians and maybe the special cards and.
Did you have like a scorecard, or like didn't they have a card where you could a checklist?
You could check them. Okay. Yeah, I thought I would get everything on the checklist, and I was kind of disappointed after a couple years of looking forward and thinking about doing that. I got so many doubles, and figured the whole box I'm going to get everything I needed. So it was a little bit disappointing. Just kept doubles, then triples, quadruples. But yeah, I guess I spent a lot of money in baseball cards and sacrificed, I guess, on some of the comic books.
Well, do you remember when you stopped collecting? I mean, what was the thing that just kind of went, you know, I think this is over. I think from now on.
I think it was going to the high school. After 9th grade, and you know, the Batman and the camp thing, and just we're going to high school, and stopped. Like we always went to the smoke shop though. Sam would he'd be sitting here bored, and just let's get out. We go down and just browse at things. So it wasn't like total stop collecting. I couldn't resist picking up a comic book or two, and as I was buying a baseball magazine or something, say in 10th grade. But yeah, that was kind of, it was junior high. It was after 9th grade.
Well, I think you stopped a little bit before I did. And then finally I went cold turkey, and I remember walking down there, and of course I think it's chapter 6 of Tales of the Smoke Shop, but it was kind of traumatic. I walked in, I looked at the wall, and there they were, the new issues, and just kind of shook my head and walked out. Steve Romito kind of looked at me kind of strange, and then it was kind of a long walk up the hill and says, I did it.
You're kidding.
Cold turkey.
See, I never thought of like cold turkey just happened. When was that? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was in '66, so it was right around it. I'd have to look back to see, because I remember I could pinpoint it because of the last issues I, you know, kind of.
Oh, were we in? Did you already start school, or was it summer? Start the 10th grade? Because that was '66.
It was '66, and I have to go back and look and see. I think I've got it pinpointed pretty good.
Wow.
But
walked in the store and walked out.
Walked out, went up the
Just
hill.
like an alcoholic. I walked in the bar.
Hi,
looked
my name's
around,
Bob, and
and you walked out of the bar.
and I walked out of the bar and
depressed and proud.
Yeah,
maybe
it
that
was.
you did
It
it.
was. And I kept to it.
Wow, I didn't consciously do it like that. I guess maybe I don't really, there must have been a point where I said, I'm not, I'd go in a smoke shop and browse at magazines and pick up a magazine, not even thinking of comic books sometimes.
Well, Frank, on the ticker, we've talked for 30 minutes. Is there anything
Wow.
else that comes to mind on the Marvel DC?
No, except that might have contributed to me. Also, another factor besides getting older and not buying comic books, it was a little sadness and watching DC: The Fall of Rome or whatever. I think that contributed. I mean, I love the Marvel, but it bothered me, watching DC go. Just change that much and go down.
Well, Frank, thanks for being here today. Thanks for taking the time to relive some of the memories of the Silver Age. And I know I enjoyed it, and I hope who's ever watching enjoyed it. And as always, remember when.